Because I know the Warhammer community is so inviting and accepting of new ideas, I know I'm safe in sharing my opinion. The new Saturnine Terminators are pretty bad. Now wait a second. The models are great, don't get me wrong. And the Mark II returning is chef's kiss. No, what I mean is the Saturnine Terminators are a bad sign for Games Workshop overall. And if you'll allow me a bit of time, I'll try to explain why. Everyone who is at least 2 tiers into the 40k iceberg knows about the big chunk of armor that is the Saturnine Terminator armor. If you aren't and are just finding out about them now, hello and welcome. Don't feel bad about buying the box, because I know I probably will be too. But the point I'm trying to make is everyone who knows them loves them in some way and for some reason. For some, they're comically stupid and that's awesome. For others, they're the most badass thing they've ever seen. And then there are some who just see a brick and think that's fucking adorable. So, if you don't know, or in case you've forgotten, here's a quick recap on the inconsistent lore of the Saturnine pattern Terminator armor. Originally, it was meant to be the first variant of Terminator armor, the prototype for the Indominus pattern armor we see in the modern day 40k, before the Cataphracti became a thing. However, they were eventually phased out and were only minorly suggested to exist in the background, all with contradicting origins and uses, with one of my favorites being the fact that the armor was used by the Saturnine Rams. Basically, human soldiers. They were very fucking elite, don't get me wrong, but they were still basic human soldiers. Currently, however, the lore has since been retconned again, to the Saturnine Terminator being created by the Primarch Vulcan, though still being based off the blueprints recovered from Saturn, with these new advanced suits being manufactured and shared among all the legions, with most having been destroyed in the opening years of the Horus Heresy. Now, I do have some issues with this new lore. I can kind of buy that most of the suits were destroyed in the opening years. Those were some of the worst parts of the war imaginable. Even if I think that's stupid because the whole point of the armor is that it's supposed to be durable and insanely unstoppable. How did so few of them survive? That's kind of against the whole point of them, right? Or the fact that these suits never showed up throughout the entire Horus Heresy book series except maybe one time. And again, I can forgive and forget all of these, even if it sounds like I'm complaining or that I hate them. I don't. I really do think they're kind of adorable with their egg-shaped body armor. But what I do hate about the Saturnine Terminators is the fact that this just seems like a really desperate tactic from Games Workshop. This release and the new Horus Heresy 3rd edition all just scream that they're trying to recapture the lightning in the bottle that was the Horus Heresy. Now, I'm not trying to turn to the next outer circle here, but what I am trying to say is that it all kind of feels wrong. Like, why is GW releasing the Girthinator Terminator units in the first place? Why are we getting a new Horus Heresy edition? And why the hell are we going back to Isvan and not moving on to the Skyring? If Chrono the Harley Quinn's video is anything to go off of, people are clamoring for the Horus Heresy to finally come to an end and for us to move on to the next phase of the Imperium's history, that being the Skyring, where the Loyalist forces hunted down and chased the traitor legions into the Eye of Terror. Now imagine how cool of an event and setting that could be for the new Horus Heresy. Instead, however, we're going back to Isvan and redoing the Drop Site Massacre. Originally, I was pretty excited when they announced that Isvan was returning. I was kind of hoping that maybe we would actually go back to Isvan, not just to visit it, but actually to do battle there. That maybe the traitor legions had actually set up a base there. We know that there is one there given the fact that Fulgrim built it. However, that is not the case. Instead, I was extremely disappointed realizing that we were instead just redoing the Drop Site Massacre, and in all honesty, we're probably just going to be redoing the entire Horus Heresy for the next 10 years. And it really sucks, because I was honestly very hyped seeing Constantine Valdor, my fucking boy there. And instead, all he was doing was talking about the Horus Heresy like it had just started. And that's when I put 2 and 2 together, and realized we were just doing it all over again. And I'm very disappointed that GW is doing this, because this generally just seems like a cash grab, and like they're spinning their wheels in desperation, like they're kind of running out of ideas. Like again, why are we going back to Isvan? Like, it honestly seems like these Saturnine Terminators are just their way of softening the blow that we're going to be redoing the Horus Heresy. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to redo certain events or try to expand on previously existing narrative events in the lore to make them bigger and more impactful and give them an actual box release. But regardless, I do think that this is just GW trying to continue the Horus Heresy when everyone knows it's done. The book series is over. The End of Death Volume 3 was a fantastic read. Even if it ran a little bit long, the climax was amazing. And Horus vs. the Emperor was one of the coolest things I've ever read in a book. Like, I love when series get very conceptual in combat. That's one of my favorite things. The issue is, it's over. It's done. The Horus Heresy is done. Let's move on to the Skyring. And why GW is going back to Isvan, I still will not comprehend. Like, unless this new Horus Heresy... unless the new edition somehow expands on the beginning and the events following, like in the Scouring. Like, for example, maybe we have some like recurring events where maybe one part of the book is focused on the opening years of the Heresy, and then the other part of the book is focused on the latter parts, like the Scouring, the opening years of the Scouring. And they could do some sort of cool mirrored thematic narrative event, like maybe the Salamanders find the Iron Hands in Isvan 3 or Isvan 5 rather, are relates to something they're doing in the Scouring. You know, there could be something really fun going on there, but I'm not looking forward to GW doing anything even remotely that cool. In all honesty, I'm kind of assuming them to kind of just, like I've been saying, redo the Heresy, and I'm disappointed in that. I am personally disappointed, and I'm not looking forward to the next edition of the Horus Heresy, even if I don't play it. The Scouring would have been a great addition to the Horus Heresy. You know, a great 3rd edition final climax, because I can honestly tell GW is honestly just trying to keep the Horus Heresy system, which most people I've talked to, because I've never played it myself, agree that the rules for Horus Heresy are the best they should be. That they are better than 40k 10th edition and better than 40k 9th edition. Now, I can't confirm this because, again, I haven't played it, but that's what they've all been telling me. And a part of me kind of wants to assume that because it's making money and it's succeeding and it's just Space Marines, GW could expand so much more on the Scouring and the characters that are present there, and they aren't. What are you guys' thoughts about the expansion on the Horus Heresy and the Battle of Isfahan, especially the Dropside Massacre? That maybe they will learn from this and move on to the Scouring. Even if the Scouring is just going to be more Space Marines. Can I get some representation for the Orcs and the Eldar, please? There's so much they could do. There's so much more they could add to everyone involved. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of just rambling on now at this point. Let me know your thoughts on the Saturnine Terminators. Will you guys be buying this box? What are you guys' thoughts on GW's new 3rd edition Horus Heresy? Let me know all that in the comment section below. And if you guys are new here, feel free to hit that like and subscribe. And if you guys are familiar here, you guys might realize that this video is a bit more loose on the scripting, on the organization, and that's because I didn't have a script for this video. I was just rewatching GW's videos and got the feeling that GW was starting to spin their wheels. And I just decided to take out my recording device and sit in dark cells and start recording. Thanks for staying till the end. I've got nothing else to say. Hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Bye!